So he was asked by my colleague Haley Bull from Scripps News as to whether there was consensus on the following part of the peace plan. Donald Trump said that he believed there was. He said, of course, there are still sticking points, but generally he believes there is consensus. But when you hear statements from Hamas and Israel that have happened in the last few hours, it does appear that there are definitely still some sticking points that remain between the two sides. One of the key sticking points really was whether Hamas would have some kind of security guarantees, or at least guarantees more generally from the United States, as to persuade them that Israel wouldn't restart this offensive once the hostage exchange had been committed. And now I asked the president that, and take a listen to what he told me. What guarantees did you give Hamas to persuade them that Israel won't restart the bombing campaign once the hostages have been exchanged?
What did I do with respect to them? Well, I spoke a little bit tough. And that's what would happen. I mean, you have to speak tough. That's a tough world. That's a tough, as they say, neighborhood. And they're tough people. They're very tough people, and they're smart people. They're good negotiators. They have a lot of things going. They put that to good use. They're going to be very, very successful. But they knew the retribution would be tremendous, unsustainable. It would have been unsustainable. It would have been complete obliteration.
So still some sticking points that exist there, but we did hear on a call with some senior officials yesterday that the U.S. is sending 200 troops from the Central Command to Israel to maintain this ceasefire, to observe it, and to make sure it is upheld. The U.S. officials stressed that those troops would not be going inside the Gaza Strip. That was another question I had for the president that we didn't ultimately get round to. But Donald Trump is heading to the region to kind of take this victory lap in a ceremonial signing in Egypt on Monday. He'll also be heading to the Knesset to address the Israeli parliament on Monday before he goes to Egypt. Ultimately, he will then be heading back to DC on that same day. So a whirlwind trip in the Middle East for the US president.
Thank you so much for your reporting, Fraser.